in a real local emergency situation where food, water, supplies, electricity, and maybe even toilet paper are unavailable or in short supply for an extended period, keeping a small emergency supply of these items in your safe might be appropriate. Even better, if you have a secure room with a vault door, it'll allow for much more storage space to allow you to weather extended shortages. There are many types of space-efficient emergency food sources to consider. It's probably not necessary or wise to fill your safe with food, but a couple of days' worth will be a cushion against the unknown and will last for many years stored in your cool, dry, safe environment. Without a doubt, the most space-efficient emergency food storage type is dehydrated or freeze-dried food. You may not notice how much water is in the foods we eat, and if you remove it and package the food efficiently, you can get quite a bit of calories in a small space. MREs are also pretty handy, but they typically aren't completely dehydrated. All the same, they are rather condensed and vacuum packaged well. A major plus is they're loaded with calories, which is a good thing in an emergency. I recommend trying them in advance to make sure you like the flavor before you're stuck with it in an emergency situation. Water is likely to be a more pressing need than food when you find yourself in a state of emergency. It's said a human can go up to 30 days without food, but only 3 days without water. A 3-day supply of emergency drinking water for everyone in your home is a reasonable idea. You should also keep a supply of water purification tablets and filters, or a Life Straw type device, which allows you to purify or filter water from locally available sources like rivers, lakes, or if your city water becomes contaminated but is still running. Emergency drinking water packets are relatively inexpensive in foil bags, and they last for many years. Water does take up more space than food, but if all you had to drink for a couple of days was an emergency foil packet of water you dug out of the bottom of your safe, it might just be the best tasting beverage you've ever had. A quick note about calories. To maintain weight, the average male requires about 3,000 calories a day, and the average female requires about 2,500 calories. During an emergency, maintaining your weight is important to function. You'll need to eat more calories when it's cold, so pay attention to temperature and make sure you store enough food for these types of situations. Food isn't the only item you should keep in your safe as you prepare for emergencies. A compact medical bag is also a good item to have in your safe. If your situation is so dire as to need your absolute last resort emergency backup supply of food and water, that probably means your primary supply in your home is not available for whatever reason, and there's a good chance you'll benefit from a medical kit. Be sure to include in your medical pack any necessary prescription medications you take regularly, and set reminders to replace this emergency supply every year. Storing a bug-out bag in your safe is a personal choice. If you pack efficiently, you might be able to find space for one, and it's not a bad idea if you can spare the room. Larger and bulkier items like packs, sleeping bags, tents, etc. aren't ideal safe stored items, but they'd be great in a secure room behind a vault door, stored with your primary emergency food and water supply. What other emergency items should you store in your safe? Should you consider storing toilet paper in your safe? Maybe. Toilet paper becomes valuable in a state of emergency, but it takes up a lot of room, and you want to remember not to fill your safe with so many items that your other valuables won't fit. A packet of moist, flushable wipes can feel more valuable than gold when there's no hope of buying toilet paper, and doesn't take up much space in your safe either. Remember, not every emergency is going to trap you in your home, make certain services unavailable, or put you in a post-apocalyptic situation. But keeping items in your safe to be handy when those times arrive will give you extra peace of mind and help you through those tough times. That's all for this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, consider following us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Stay safe out there, and catch you later. Be sure to include your medical pack. Dang it, I cracked my knuckle. Go back. What was that?
That was really loud.